Hello, Capricorn, and welcome to your 2019 overall energy reading. I keep trying not to say January, and yet again, my voice is shot. Every time I talk, I think I have it together until I talk, and then I'm just like, oh yeah, no. But anyway, welcome to your 2019 overall energy reading for the year. We're going to take a gander at the major arcana, because I pulled the major arcana out of this deck, because all of the major arcana cards are all spiritual lessons, of course. So we're going to look at a central energy for you guys for 2019, as well as a catalytic energy. I hope catalytic's a word, but I've been using it like one, so guess what? And then we're going to look at subconscious influences, which in essence would be the proverbial program running in the background, as well as what's going to come into your awareness in 2019. And we're going to end with a message from Spirit, a little meditative mantra and whatnot or whatever. So we're going to ask Spirit to give us clear and direct guidance for Capricorns for 2019. We're going to ask that messages that will serve the highest good, the personal growth and evolution of Capricorns to come to the forefront in this reading, and for Spirit to give me the ability to interpret the messages that are to be manifested for Capricorn's highest good, to give them hope and optimism for an amazingly abundant new year. And I thank you in advance, Spirit. What is it energetically that Capricorn needs to know for 2019? And I thank you in advance, Spirit. Okay, so our central energy for the year is the Sun card. Your catalyst is the Star card. How many people are going to keep getting the same cards? I mean, sort of. Your subconscious influence is the Teach card, or the Hierophant in reverse. Oh, wonderful. And your above energy is the Confront card, or what's coming into your awareness. I don't remember who this was who had these. I think it was Gemini, someone, whatever. But anywho, so this is so interesting. So the central energy for Capricorns for 2019 is, how can I say it? It's not manifesting your abundance. It's almost growing into yourself. This goes back to another reading that I said earlier this year, where I talked about your shadow, right? Or what's been made to, or what's been cast in the shadow is the wounded inner child. What I'm seeing is you guys redeeming this inner child. So this is slightly different than who it was that had the moon card before and confronting the self. So this isn't like confronting a demon. This is removing the proverbial shroud of shame from the wounded inner child. It's the person that you were eons ago, we could say. Your true self, and being shamed or harmed in some way, and feeling that that person that you were was the source or the cause for that pain. being partaken upon you. So it's the thought of running from the self, because it's the thought that, and I mean, this could be anything. It doesn't matter what it is, you know. It could be, I don't know, you revealing to a group of friends when you were 12 that you were into Pokemon cards, and they were like, dude, that's lame. And you were just like, oh, you must like Pokemon cards and stuff. And you just burned all your anime stuff, whatever, whatever the case may be. But there was a sense of rejection of a self that you were once upon a time proud of, a self that you were once upon a time in alignment with. And when opposition was met or rejection was met to that person, you made a conscious decision to not be that, and have spent many years aligning with the polar opposite of that. Even in some ways, there may have been some subconscious projection going on, where people who reminded you of that person that you used to be, and of course it's a subconscious, so you may not be consciously aware of this, some of you may, but it's a disdain for a certain group of people. And the disdain for them, the truth of that is the fact that they're standing in the truth of who they are with pride. And it's on a core level your desire to do the same, right? So, of course, to make this simple, we'll stick with our anime reference. So it's like having liked it as a kid and now as an adult, being irritated by adults who like anime. And it's like, that's so childish. Like, why would you like that? That's pointless. Like, that's a subconscious projection, because there's no specific reason. If someone were to be like, why is it that? And I'm not saying that for all of you is anime, but if it's like, people are like, why do you hate people who like anime so much? And you're like, I don't know, I just don't like them. They just irritate me. I don't know what it is. But that disdain, that unexplainable disdain for a specific group of people is, and this is where we talk about projection, because it's a distorted reflection, right? So it's a hatred for them standing in your truth, because on the internal side, it's me wanting to stand in mine, and it's me being annoyed and irritated by people who are doing something that I can't do. But of course, again, like I said, this is not a conscious thought process, it's subconscious. So with self-awareness, it's always so imperative to be clear on all things that we feel. And I said this in another video, but when I was saying, like, I don't like when you say, like, I feel some type of way. It's the need to know, how is it that you feel? Because our feelings, our responses to things, the things that we hate, the things that we love, all of these are key puzzle pieces to the understanding of the self, right? In order to have full self-awareness, to completely understand and know, and almost have ourselves down to a science to navigate life properly, it requires us to unearth these things that we rarely ever question. It's knowing, something as seemingly silly as, why is this color my favorite color? Oh, just because it's my favorite color. But it's like, why? What is it about it? You know what I mean? And being able to explain these things, and things like that seem so minute, or they seem so insignificant, but the truths behind the things that we gravitate towards, and even the things that we repel, could reveal almost life-altering truths to us about ourselves. So I say all of that to say, the thing that will come to your awareness is that which I said, right? With your subconscious influence being the Hierophant in reverse, it's the unlearning of these untruths. So kind of what I just explained here, it's seeing how things that you truly want to be in alignment with, how you're repelled by them, but it's the sun shining light on the why, right? It's you going back and revisiting this, inner child shrouded in shame, It's you being able to really make the determination as an adult if they really ever should have been rejected in the first place. You know what I mean? It's coming to the truth about that and confronting not the shadow self so much, but more or less the truths and untruths about the shadow self are what is going to be coming to light in 2019, which of course is going to allow you to unveil the authentic self with the star. So the challenge is going to be, once we remove this, proverbial shadow shroud of rejection and shame and disdain that the wounded inner child has been shrouded in for decades for some, it's now seeing not it, but you for who you really are. It's re-embracing your truth and having the courage to reveal that to the world. It's having the confidence to reveal that to the world. It's releasing the lies that were told to you or that you internalized or what have you about the authentic self. And more or less having a coming out party in celebration of the truth of who you are. It's no longer having to live in shame. It's no longer having to live hiding. It's being able to, what's the word? It's being able to thrive with or as the person that you've spent much of your life pushing away or repelling or trying to align with the opposite of it, right? And getting clear on the why that is. And that's it's very profound and very thought-provoking at the same time to be in such of a position, because, it's almost cracking the foundation that you're standing on. So it's a bit of a tower moment, a tad bit, because sometimes we can build whole lives based on who it is that we wish we were as opposed to who it is that we are. And I'm not saying any of this in a negative sense, because this is all great, but it's like that's a challenge when and I guess the best thing I could think about is like the depth of this is and I tread lightly with this example, but it's almost if, say hypothetically, it's a person who's raised in like a super die-hard, like, I don't know, like Protestant Christian household, right? That, like, a old Southern Baptist household, right? That believes like if you're gay, you're going to hell. And it's knowing since I was 8 years old that I was gay. And when I overheard, my parents talking in the kitchen and they were talking about, I don't know, someone from the church or something, and someone's child coming out, and hearing your parents say that that person is going to go to hell. And it's hearing that at 8 and instantly being ashamed of who I am. So I shroud it, I reject it. I refuse to align with it, right? So that's how we shroud the truth, the authentic self, the inner child, in that shame, right? So as we grow up, anytime those feelings rise up, or anytime, I'm attracted to a male, it's like, I beat myself up in my head and I remind myself of this teaching. It's like, you don't want to go to hell. So it's like, don't look at him, da 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 da, right? It's like, that's evil, that's bad, blah, 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 blah. So it's reinforcing this external truth, right? And even more so, shrouding my authentic self in shame, right? That creates a dissension in the self. So I'm no longer in alignment with my truth, right? So you fast forward a couple of decades, and kind of like the example I said in the beginning, it's, the guy who's in the office, and I don't know, let's say it was the day that that the Supreme Court approved gay marriage. And it's the guy that's in the office that's just so infuriated and so angry. And someone asks, it's like, why are you so upset about them, making gay marriage legal? And it's like, oh, just because it's wrong. And it's like, well, why do you care so much? And it's like, I don't know, it just gets under my skin, right? But that's what I mean about the anger at, the Supreme Court making gay marriage legal, and the anger, the unexplained just disdain and hatred is the unexplained anger, disdain, and hatred that the person has for themselves and having had to reject themselves. So anyone who is living in alignment with their truth, they hate, right? Because I can't do it, right? That's an example of what projection looks like. And that's kind of what it is that I'm seeing here. Not saying that you guys are doing that, like to that extreme, but that's an extreme example so you can kind of pull it back so you can see those dimensions of what I'm saying. It's a hint that the things or the people or the circumstances that you unexplainably hate could very well hold the key to unlock your truth, right? But like I've been saying for everyone, this isn't anything that you need to force. This is just giving you a glimpse in the pieces of the process that is going to be unfolding for you guys this year, right? So regardless of what the case is or how the circumstances manifest, at the end of the day, the light will be shown, right, on these parts of yourself that you've forgotten or rejected or neglected. You will be coming out of alignment with false ideals and false truths that are no longer serving you and are cultivating blocks in your life and preventing you from aligning with yourself. And by the end of this year, you will be unashamed and aligned with your authentic truth and presenting that to the world, which is beautiful, dag nabbit son of a gun. So we are going to pull you guys a message from Spirit, aka the meditative mantra and what's not, or whatever, if my cards would act right with me. So Spirit, what is it that Capricorn needs to meditate on going into 2019? What is it that Capricorn needs to know, Spirit? And I have been suggesting for everyone that you guys write these down, because I believe that if you meditate on this, like say it 3 times, close your eyes, sit in silence, that Spirit will continue to unfold this universal truth to you. What is it that Capricorn needs to know, Spirit? What do my Cappies need to know? Dag nabbit, son of a gun. Whoa, spadoodles. That's 3. Okay, let's go with it. So, first, I understand your fatigue. I know you are tired of the struggle. Yet I tell you this, when you follow me, the struggle disappears. Live in your God space, and the events become blessings, one and all. Yeah, man, this is all about attuning to the higher self. Attuning to the higher self. And follow me is me. It's the inner self. It's the higher self. It's the part of us that is forever attuned with Spirit, right? It's the highest version of ourselves that exists in the ultimate energy of love. And granted, the fatigue and the tiredness comes from us working in resistance. More often than not, we find ourselves, and much like this, we tire ourselves out trying to cultivate a life that was never intended to belong to us. Whenever we're existing in flow, and we're only moving when Spirit says move, when we're attuned with the self, when we can, do nothing and accomplish everything in that energy of creation and flow, things are so much easier and life inadvertently unfolds for us. And I've found in my own experience that anytime I feel as if I'm pushing or thrusting myself forward or I'm clawing tooth and nail, if there's a great deal of resistance that I find in my path, that's how I know that I'm not in flow. Because whenever I'm in flow and I'm manifesting and co-creating with spirit for my highest good, things just work. They just go. They just unfold. They just are. I think and it is. You know what I mean? It's always me making steps and things unfolding without any form of exertion. So whenever you find yourself beating against a brick wall, a lot of times we have to take a step back and observe and question if we are trying to manifest a life that was never intended to belong to us, or if we're co-creating. I already told you what co-creating is like. Dagnabbit, son of a gun. Anyway, next card. Let your love propel your beloved into the world and into the full experience of who you are. In this will you have truly... Look, what? In this you will have... Oh, sorry. Let me reread that. Let your love propel your beloved into the world and into the full experience of who you are. In this will you find have truly... What? In this will you have truly loved. This is what I was talking about. I was saying that these are going to start getting weird. God, in this will you have truly loved. Okay, sorry. Let your love propel your beloveds into the world and into the full experience of who they are. In this will you will have truly loved. Why does that not come out of my mouth right? In this will you have truly loved. Jeez Louise. Oh, wow. So this is more or less talking about co-creation. It's kind of what I was saying. It's allowing yourself to be in flow, which is the highest frequency, that of which is love, and allowing that to be the portal through which things are birthed into this realm. And it's only through that portal of birthing things through love will you truly have the full experience of who you are. And like the last sentence says, in this will you have truly loved, I guess. But in other words, you manifesting things in that way, aligning or manifesting things that are alignment with the highest truth about who you are, which is love, is the only way you will truly experience love, right? So manifesting things through the portal of fear, that isn't love, right? It's not the highest vibration. It's not the highest frequency. It's just a poor excuse for it, dagnabbit, son of a gun. So next, it says, God the Father is knowing, the parent of all understandings, the begetter of all experience, for you cannot experience that which you do not know. Wow, that's deep. Wow. I told you I was going to start getting existential. That's interesting. God the Father is knowing, the parent of all understandings, the begetter of all experience. For you cannot experience that which you do not know. Wow, that's heavy. You cannot experience that which you do not know. So if you don't know something to be your truth or know something to be your reality, that would explain why one never experiences it. And that all brings it back to the self. If one does not know love of self, because I am I, And if I experience love within the self, I can now experience it in my reality. But if I don't first know it, you can't experience what you don't know. That's very interesting. That is so freaking dope. I even had me a little epiphany there. All right, Capricorn. Well, that has been your 2019 energy reading, Capricorn. I hope that it has been helpful. I hope that you learned just something. I hope you feel motivated. I hope that you feel excited about the year, because I am dagnabbit son of a gun. I'm excited for you. But let me know in the comments what you think in your January general reading is coming up after I finish all of the other signs. But until I see you again, I love your face. Deuces.